everybody lives, but everybody dies. So while I'm in the air, I'm shooting for the sky, landing on the moon, walking on the sun, taking over the game, get it back what we done. Not everybody lives, but everybody dies. So while I'm in the air, I'm shooting for the sky, landing on the moon, walking on the sun, taking over the game, get it back what we done. I'll get it back what we done. Stick out them hands in the air. Have you ever seen? Work 9 to 5 or 5 to 9. Do you ever dream? They in the red, but my stalk is green. Proud like I reached the clouds, all off a beam. Dreams on lucid, films on Lucas, sound on surround, and the crowd on stupid. Who that chick Dion? That's Dion on clueless. You circling around the money, sitting in a Cupid car. Feel the dreams, they said I'm too corny. Funny, I got their ears all on me. Fears all gone and my peers all wrong. So keep your 2 cents in every phrase y'all coining. That's just common sense, all the hating, I honored it. I don't leak, I quantum it. I don't answer, I problem it. I just drop shit while they asking what a colonic is. Thinking, you know what I'm pondering? Not everybody lives, but everybody dies. So while I'm in the air, I'm shooting for the sky, landing on the moon, walking on the sun, taking over the game, get it back what we done. Not everybody lives, but everybody dies. So while I'm in the air, I'm shooting for the sky, landing on the moon, walking on the sun, taking over the game, get it back what we done. I'll get it back what we done.
What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real Cowboys fans, stand up. Salute to everyone in the chat, all the members out there who have their notification bells on. Now, Cowboys Nation, let's talk real quick. You know, this past month, I took a break. A lot of content creators took a break. And I told y'all, when I come back, we are going to crank things up to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? So this past week, I pulled out the bat phone and I called out all the big dogs. So just to give y'all a heads up, we are dropping bangers on this channel every day. I'm bringing all the big dogs out on this show for the next 2 weeks. So y'all need to be tuned in and turn on y'all notification bells so y'all do not miss out. Now, this first guy up doesn't really need an introduction, but I'm going to give him one. You know, when I kind of came in this game, I was kind of just looking at the landscape. I was like y'all, I was kind of just in the chat, just finding Dallas Cowboys YouTubers. And I came across this channel and it wasn't just entertaining, but it was thoughtful. You know, it was about football. It was conceptual. It was breaking down film. It was making the game of football fun. And I sat back and said, you know what? I like this guy. I like this guy. And this guy's inspired me for all the film breakdowns that y'all see and love. This is the man who inspired it. And he's kind of been low key. He's been on vacation. And I said, nah, dog, I need you as we gear up for camp. He said, Tuck, no problem. So CFO gang, let's give him warm welcome to our guy, AKOYE. What's going on with you, dog?
Hey man, like I ain't gonna hold you pause, but I mean that was inspiring, man. That made me blush a little bit, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Appreciate the introduction, man.
Hey man, like I said, man, I'm not just saying it because you hear, dog. It's inspiring. Like I said, like I think that's the most important thing about our community is the people who set the standard. Like you set the standard, Law set the standard, Big set the standard, Mark set the standard, Sky set the standard, Vouch. So when I came in, that was, I knew if I wanted to be able to talk ball with y'all, I had to get my shit together, right? So hopefully I'm just carrying that torch and carrying the standard for people.
Man, I just told you backstage, man, I'm kind of quiet because of what you do. And it's not like I said, it's not a discouraging thing. It's like, hey, man, somebody is definitely holding the torch at all times in one direction or another, whether it be breakdowns, college breakdowns and analysis, or just the narrative on or spin on what they're looking at, both from the front office or a personnel standpoint. So it's like, I love what you guys are doing. And, you know, so for me, it's easy to kind of sit back. But I just told you another thing. So you brought me back in another. We brought me back here.
I didn't bring him back, man. So y'all probably about,
you brought me back and you brought me back.
So, y'all probably about to get some videos coming up soon, man. I had to put my doggone game because he was doing something the old-fashioned way.
I'm
and I was like, no, we don't do that.
I'm like, hey, so you don't watch watch the whole game? Like, nah, you just go ahead
Nah,
and
we
hit
don't
this
do
button.
that no more. We
You
got
just hit this
apps for
button
that
right
now.
here.
We got apps for that.
I'm
We
like
get
a
straight to
dude with a wagon that learned about, you know, Ferraris and GPS at the same time. It's like mind blowing.
Yeah, man.
So it's on,
I
man.
love it. I love it because that's what
It's
it's all
on.
about. It's about sharing ideas, sharing, you know, new things kind of going on. Because like I said, sometimes, like even with some of the schemes that goes on, I'll go and see you get that notification, you breaking down Shawty's scheme. Well, I ain't gonna talk about it. Just go watch that. Click that link. I'm gonna go play games for a little bit, dog. So like I said,
That's
I
what's coming,
appreciate you.
man. It's
But like
coming.
I said, before we start with this Cowboys stuff, because I know you're a boxing extraordinaire. How are you feeling about the landscape of boxing? We had some 2 great cards this past weekend with the female boxers. You know, Amanda Serrano lost again. Katie Taylor had Alicia Baumgartner fight well. And then you had the fight, on Saturday night. And then this Friday, you got the rematch of Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Findora, who I got to cut. PBC, they hit me too late. You know what I'm saying? They're like, Tuck, you coming out? I was like, I'm going to Vegas actually next weekend. I was like, y'all didn't hit me. But how are you feeling about the landscape when it comes to boxing as a whole right now?
Well, from 2 standpoints, like one, I feel great about it because like I just got into last year I jumped into the promotional space myself because I see how lucrative it can be due to the fact that like this new wave of the way we do things, influencer marketing versus, you know, actual marketing the fighter itself. So it's like you already know we know how to market. That's what we do. So having that and taking that mindset to boxing, I think boxing right now is primed for an explosion. And the other end of that that volatility is Riyadh season with Turkish Alakash. I love what they're doing because the fact that he has a blank check like HBO gave, you know, boxing back in the day, but he has a blank check that basically allows him to make fights that otherwise would never happen, and also, you know, pay enough to make these different factions play nice together, you know, like Top Rank and you know, Golden Boy and PBC. All those guys would never do business with each other traditionally because they had to get the gate. You got to get, you know, the sponsorships. You got to get everything that's going in on the back end. I understand that as a promoter, right? Even though I'm a club promoter, I still understand that aspect of not wanting to share that pie. But when you have someone coming in with unique money, right? That conversation gets, you know, quelled because he can make everybody happy at the table because he's looking to, I think, take losses early in order to make the way for a new wave of boxing in the future. So that's where I stand on boxing as a whole. The fights that you talked about, though, I know that's kind of what you want to get into. I saw a lot, right? I think that you know, Shakur, he went out there and I think they turned.
Impressed? I saw a few tweets. You know,
I'll put it to you this way. He did thug it out. I'll give him that. He thugged it out. It wasn't a master class. He thugged it out. When I watch, it's two different, just like you have a fan mindset when you watch the Cowboys,
right?
And then you have your analytical mindset. From a fan standpoint, yeah, that was a great fight. It was exciting, right? From an analytical mindset, like I have a fighter that's in this weight division. So if I'm like, hey, how will you beat this guy? It's like, okay, the punches that he was taking from Zepeda clean, he wouldn't take from a Gervonta clean the same way. So when I look at those shots, it's like, okay, can he get through a fight with a Gervonta Davis or certain fighters that are in that weight group, right? That can knock you out with one punch or change the fight with one punch. Can he get through that fight without, you know, getting damaged the way I think he would? And Zepeda just can't damage you, but he couldn't get away from Zepeda. He was right there, you know, in the pocket with him. So that was a great fight for him for many different ways. Like from a business standpoint, you're not scared to fight him because you think that you can catch him. And then from a fanfare standpoint, he didn't run. So, you know, he might have gained some excitement there. So it was good for Shakur, but great also for the guys who want to fight Shakur.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, like even with you mentioned that boxing analogy, like sometimes even with us, when we watch the Cowboys on Sundays, we just watching the game and we're kind of just being a fan. We're kind of wrapped up in the moment. But then on Monday, when we get to the film, it's a whole different angle how we look at things, right? So I think sometimes the fans don't understand. Like, Tuck, why are you being so negative? Like Tuck, you being so negative. I'm like, well, I was excited last night until I got this film. Like, all right, bro, it didn't look like it's supposed to look, but I think
they're like, you hating score. I'm like,
Right, you hate. Why you so mad? That was a win. I'm like, nah, bro. That was
Zapata hit him, and he was like wobbly. I'm like, that's Zapata. Zapata don't hit that hard.
Right, yeah.
Like, I hit you, you're not surviving.
Exactly, exactly.
It's a
Tank would have probably sent to,
and if I say that, it's like, oh, you hate.
You hating.
They did that with Errol Spence. I did videos for years for Errol Spence versus Crawford. I'm like, as soon as he fights a guy that has a power jab as a southpaw, or that can hit him with consistent right hands. I use Kell Brooks' fight as an example. I said, as soon as he fights a guy that can use their right hand dominantly, he's going to lose. And he fought Crawford. And as soon as I saw that Crawford came out from the first round as a southpaw, I said, it's over already. It's over.
No, not to put you on the spot, because I'm gonna be in the building. Like, I think it's gonna be a cash grab. I don't care. Take the money, right? Canelo, Crawford. Who would you put your money? I know who I'm going with, but I know who I'm putting my money on. So I ain't gonna say who. You know what I'm saying? But
I put it to you this way: like the guys who give Canelo problems, Bivol, Floyd Mayweather, so on. They're defensive-minded fighters who also have footwork, right? So Canelo does struggle with footwork. However, Crawford is not a defensive-minded fighter.
Right.
He will fight you, right? And that's what we don't know. The litmus test is like, okay, can Crawford's punch resistance, carry with him to the higher weights? If it can, I look at Crawford as the pound for pound better fighter, because although Canelo, is powerful, good head movement, will tear you up, his struggle is against guys with footwork, right? Crawford, however, doesn't struggle against almost anything, right? That he's been put in front of so far. Now, skill-wise, bags, how many different things can he do? Yeah, Crawford wins that department. That's why I say pound for pound, he's better. However, good big man beats good big little man usually. And I think if Crawford goes in there using his bravado instead of his mind and tries to exchange with Canelo at any time in that fight, it's probably over for Crawford. If he uses his footwork and doesn't get caught up in trying to win in an impressive fashion and just says, hey, I just want to win the fight, and builds up some rounds and makes it so that Canelo now has to get a little desperate and try to find him, Crawford can win, I think, on points, and maybe even he's sharp enough to walk you into something. But I'm like, a guy who fought Triple G willingly 3 times ain't worried about Crawford punching power, man. There's nothing Crawford can do that's going to hurt Canelo. He fought Clover. He fought punchers that would probably knock Crawford's head off. So there's no way Crawford, I don't think, can hurt him. And if he hurts Canelo, he doesn't have to knock him out. If he hurts Canelo, even if he loses, Crawford
that's
done
more than
something
enough
for me. That's like a great, good. But Crawford has earned the right to make his payday and walk into the sunset if this is the way he wants to go do that. I think that's what he's doing. I don't think this is about I care if I win type thing. It's not like a fight that's changing the landscape of what boxing will be. It's like Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao. You just want to see it happen.
You just want to see it happen.
After it happens, whoever loses, it does nothing to them in a negative at all.
They both walking outrage. They both walking outrage. All right, so we apologize. We got Jay Tucker and AKOYE over here talking about boxing. Talking about
you gotta have real conversation, man. It's
AKOYE on camera. You gotta get all your questions out because we might not get him again. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna pivot over to the Cowboy stuff. Appreciate everyone who's watching across the channels. Make sure y'all subscribe, share the content. Let everybody know Tucker and AKOYE going live right now. You know what I'm saying? Let everybody know on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Salute to Instagram. I see y'all on Instagram. Salute to my dog Wanye watching as well. All right. So I want to kind of back things up.
What's up, man?
Just a little bit, AKOYE. So, Brian Schottenheimer, he's been brought in as a Dallas Cowboys head coach. Overall, how was you feeling about the hire initially to how you feeling currently about Brian Schottenheimer being the head for the Dallas Cowboys this season?
To be honest with you, man, like I think when I broke Shotty down when we originally got him, right? Hold on, I'm sending this link out to Twitter real quick for you. Let me send this over. Boom. Just want to make sure they get it.
Everybody know, y'all. Let's get these shares. Let's get these likes up.
Exactly. Okay. Sorry about that. But initially, when we first got him, I broke him down. I looked at his scheme versus Dan Quinn at the time in that video. I liked what I saw then. I thought that he should have been the real offensive coordinator, and we don't know the soap opera that goes on in the building and what's really going on, but it was just kind of interesting to me that he was picked up and then he got to kind of sit in a unique position while learning all the personnel and them learning him and his personality, but not really having the authority to have the impact that he wanted at that time, but he was endeared by the players, which was either a genius move by him or a genius move by the front office. Who knows what their reasoning for that was? But I think that if you're going to go give a guy a shot at running your team and you give him a 2-year or a year and a half grace period to learn what's wrong, do what we just talked about, a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. He knows what's wrong, and he kind of has a fresh look on things, but still has the ice in his veins and the DNA, the shoddy DNA that says, hey, I know football as well. So it's not like and I'm not hating on him, but it's not like I'm a Kellen Moore where it's like, hey, I'm a savant, but I don't have the seasoning, right? He has both. So I always like Shotty. This off season made me love Shotty because it made me feel, fortified in my decision and my thinking like, hey, this is a good coach. But the hires, his hires, as soon as he got in, he hired the guy Adam from Arizona. What's his last name?
Clayton Adams.
Clayton Adams. That's his last name, right? But going after a revamped offensive line, and then understanding that we needed to get a little bit more multiple in our run fronts, along with the things we're doing pre-snap as well with wide receivers as well. So it's like understanding that, and him actually not just making us think it because we're watching the film and we're trying to reverse engineer what he might be thinking of doing. It's like, no, he came out and just said it. So that made me look at Shotty a little different. I look at Shotty now as like a guy that I think is he's primed for this season, and not only the season, but for the helm of this team. And I think he'll be here a while. I mean, the roster itself, if he's not, there's really no excuses that you can give him. I don't have any excuses for him. He has everything that you can ask for.
And I agree with that. Now, initially, I wasn't happy how they went about the hire. I feel like they should have probably interviewed a few more other candidates if they knew they wasn't going to be too keen on bringing back Mike McCarthy. But like you said, bro, since they brought him in, you mentioned Clayton Adams, but also Junior Adams from Oregon, Coach Connor Riley from here in Kansas State, who I definitely love as offensive line. I don't call him a guru because I like tossing that word around, but he's a damn good offensive line coach, right? So you bring him in, and the thing that I like is that everybody has the same mentality. It's not like, well, he's kind of more of a pass spread offense guy. He's more of a everybody focuses on the run. I did a series, and pretty much from Connor Riley to Clayton Adams to the running back coach to even Shotty, they were all saying the same things. And people are asking, well, do they know it? No, they don't even know each other. You know what I'm saying? So he went out there and he went out there and hunted his super team of people with like-minded individuals. So I'm interested to see how it's going to translate. Now, you kind of mentioned about the dynamic with Mike McCarthy and also Shotty. So let me kind of give it in step in this way, right? Get 100 points, right? 100%. How would you divide that of what we saw last year, the offense between Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, and Brian Schottenheimer?
Tuck, you a genius, man. Because that's a great question, and I swear we didn't rehearse this, right? But that's a question that I asked as well. Like when I look at when Dak's hurt, right? I think when Dak is hurt and you're not running a lot of the intricate pre-snap audibles and fast offense, hurry up offense, that I think Mike McCarthy, that up tempo that Mike McCarthy liked. I think when you saw Cooper Rush out there, I think that's Shotty ball.
Okay.
Yep, both years. So I think that Schottenheimer's offense is more so, his staple on the offense after Dak injury. I think it's more so it was run heavy, ball control, and we were trying to keep games close and win in the end. Whereas McCarthy, we were high octane, right? And that doesn't mean that Shotty isn't going to be high octane, but I just think that that's the dynamic that they were kind of leaning on, because after you watch the film of Shotty coming in, the only time we were in those fronts consistently that he was traditionally doing in Seattle was when Cooper Rush was in there. When Dak was there, that was what they called the Texas coast, where it was more so, I think, McCarthy's offense. It looked more like Green Bay and not like Seattle. Now, and that's why I say that. And so I would say the split, it was minimal Shotty until Dak got hurt. That's it.
Gotcha.
So I think you're mostly looking at Mike McCarthy. The good thing is we can keep all of the positives from Mike McCarthy's offense, because this is why I say it's genius that he was on the staff. Everything that was working for McCarthy, Shoddy knows the
Mm-hmm.
calls, the verbiage, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he also knows what doesn't work, and he can fix
Right.
those things. He can add his wrinkle to that. So I think keeping Shoddy was better than any other hire because of that. We can keep the things that we already know we like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way
And just
CD was
remix it.
playing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They mentioned that. I think Jerry or Steven had mentioned that, right? Is keeping things simple for Dak, right? Because you didn't want to have Dak coming in, brand new offensive coordinator, brand new language, brand new philosophy, and a new defensive coordinator come in. Like it's that would be more of a full tear down and rebuild. So you get to keep some of the positives you mentioned through Mike McCarthy's Tex Coast or wherever you want to call it offense that work well for Dak. But hey, sometimes let's reel things a little back a little bit, put some
Yeah.
additional emotions, different things like that. Now,
Yeah.
of course, y'all, we wasn't gonna have AKOYE here and not have no. I know y'all think we were gonna have AKOYE here and not go through no damn film. So the
Oh,
film
let's
that I
go.
really cut up to kind of go through quick film. We ain't gonna
No,
keep
go ahead,
y'all
do your
all
thing,
day,
man.
right?
Let's go.
But it's more about focusing on Clayton Adams, right? Because
Mm,
I think that Clayton Adams is also going to be a key. Now, of course, he wasn't the overall play caller out there in Arizona. He's more of a tight end guy, right? Offensive
mm,
line guy. But I
mm,
think that you're going to see some of those things really transpire and be brought over to Dallas. When it comes to his offense. So let's get to it. That's the defense side of the ball. We'll get to that here in a second. All right. So, when it comes to Clayton Adams in the run game, like I said, we've been hearing a lot about power run. We went and drafted Tyler Booker, who I think is going to be a phenomenal rookie for us. But let me ask you this, Okoye. Do you think that we have that main ingredient,
mhm.
which is the running backs? I think that's the hot topic button when it comes to most Dallas Cowboys fans is, do we really have the main ingredient, or do you think that Clayton Adams, Schottenheimer, new offensive line approach will be good enough that you can maybe make Javonte Williams serviceable, or Miles Sanders or Jadon Blue or whoever gets that role?
Right. Two things. History is the best indicator of what will happen in future events, right?
Mhm.
So I'll get into that. And then the other end of that is like understanding, like, look, the the way we ran the ball traditionally wasn't horrible. We didn't rank bad each year,
Mhm.
especially under Kellen Moore. It's about when we run, why we run, and how we go about it with our mentality, right?
Mhm.
Um, Clayton Adams, to me, addresses those things. When you look, and then to answer your question about the running back by committee, to take that on directly, if you want to look at historical examples of his scheme and where it's come from, right? You look at like a McDaniels, right? And
Mhm.
what they do over in Miami. A lot of the motions and a lot of the ways they use their tight ends to pin, not not try to get upfield and get to linebackers, but you'll see them they'll take their tight end in motion, and then
Mhm.
like Miami did this to us a lot. That's why I said it. But they'll take their tight end in motion, and then he'll chop like your one tech out. So they'll part the Red Sea. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He'll chop your one tech, and then there's nothing but space and opportunity in the middle of the field for guys like A Chain and those types of guys. And I think we're set up in regards to our personnel, our running backfield, like
Mhm.
Miami was last year. We got Jadon Blues, a burner. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We got Mafa, who just will just straight run through you. More like a Mostert type of guy, but he'll just run straight through you. But we
Mhm.
have power backs, a good mixture of power backs, and I think Javonte Williams is more like a balanced back, but he's still
Mhm.
he's still powerful as hell, has good
Yeah.
contact balance, everything. So I do think in this case the running back by committee uh, could be advantageous for us because it's truly running back by committee. And when I say that, I mean each back I could make an argument without seeing them in
Right.
training camp why they could start, and I'd be fine with it, right?
Mhm.
So, and that's even Maffa included. So when I look at those guys and I say, hey, if you have a backfield like that and you're getting them on the field, it's like what running back by committee used to be. Like a
Mhm.
was it who was it? Dorsey Levens and Westbrook or something like that. Like
Mhm.
the Eagles had two backs, that were real. Then you had Brandon Jacobs and Tiki Barber. Those were what running back by committee really used to be. It
Right.
wasn't we got a bunch of average backs that we're trying to make into one okay
One.
back.
Right.
We have a bunch of good backs, and we're going to get them on the field to do the things that they do well. Darren Sproles,
Mhm.
LaDainian Tomlinson, that's a running back by committee situation.
Mhm.
Not which you can only run power. You can only, you know what I mean? And these
Right.
guys, and when we don't know when to mix those guys in, or the defense can kind of curtail what we're doing because they can say, okay, well, we know what type of personnel to run when this guy's out here, he ain't going this
Mhm.
way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You
looking
can
at
get
it
that
that way, I think,
variety. You get that
yeah,
variety over 17 weeks of football, right? And I
right.
think eventually someone might really take the reins, but you can put yourself in a situation if the scheme is good enough, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
commit to it. And I think that's the difference. And we'll talk about the run defense here in a second. But I mean, you've been around football long enough,
Right.
Okoye.
Mm-hmm.
Running the ball and stopping the run, it's a mindset thing, right? And so when
Oh
you
yeah.
start to wear it more as an identity, you start to feel it, especially for your offensive lineman. I felt like the biggest, problem with Terrence Steele was getting away from the run game, because I feel like when you're going forward for Terrence, that's when he's best. When you have him pass pro 45 times a game, that's just not Terrence's strong point, right? And even maybe Tyler Guyton. But if you let this offensive line get that momentum early, establish the run, get the momentum, not only is it going to get them in rhythm, but it's going to also open up that passing game with Pickens and CD and Ferguson as well. And I like the creativity when I saw and watched Clayton Adams, like this play right here, it's a direct snap, like just modern day stuff. I feel like Mike McCarthy's run game, it was very Madden 93.
Oh
You know,
my
it was
God.
mad,
Yeah.
it was Madden
It's
93.
Tecmo
Now,
Bowl.
it's Tecmo Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You come out in a strong guy. You know what I'm saying? Or an offset,
You
and
go
you
back to
try to
that play
run
right
back.
there. Go ahead. I'm listening to you though.
Yeah. So because this is what I was going to bring up, right? I personally like James Conner, but I don't feel like James Conner is an elite
No,
top end
nope,
running back, right?
nope.
But this play right here, y'all, this is just cutback vision. And I feel like Javonte Williams can get you this. I feel like
100%.
Miles Sanders can get you this. I felt like last year, bless
100%.
his soul. And even as this play right here, like watch this push, my dog losing the building. Watch this push from their offensive line out there in Arizona. Stonewalling.
And that's just a gap run, just straight
Yeah.
up. We
It's
ain't
a
even
simple,
do
it's a
nothing
simple
pretty.
gap, firing off the ball, nothing cute, but it's just physicality. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
It's
straight up.
just physicality. So I think that it's more of a mindset. If you can get that into the DNA of these players, which I think it is, you can probably be serviceable. Now, is it going to be as attractive as Philly with the Saquons or the Christian McCaffreys or whatnot? Probably not. But I think that our run game and our running back should be enough. But I just don't think it concerns a defensive coordinator. If I'm picking my poison as a defensive coordinator, I would rather the Cowboys beat me with Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders or Deuce Vaughn, Jadon Blue than CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Ferguson, Kevontae Turpin. So I think that's going to be the interesting dynamic to see how that all kind of shapes out.
I feel you, but it's a look again. It's about mentality, right? And how you go about it. And I think that starts with what we do have, which is a revamped offensive line and a young, mean offensive line. BB
Mhm.
mean, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Tyler Smith mean.
right.
Booker, mean.
Right.
Still is mean. And you just hit the nail on the head earlier because, like I said, you say things that I think a lot. When we talk about still pass pro all game is like crazy. That drove me crazy last year and the year before because not only is it that he's not the best pass protector in the world anyway, but he
Right.
was coming off that ACL injury. So I'm like, look,
Mhm.
if you want to, the best way to help your offensive line out is to let them hit shit. If you have
Mhm.
them getting hit all day, and what I mean by getting hit, if more often than not, even if you do it, in a good mixture, right? You might look at the snap and say, "Oh, well, they ran the ball a good amount of times, but did they run draw plays? Was
Mhm.
his first step backwards, or what type of block
Right.
scheme was he implementing on that play? So he still
Mhm.
might have been taking a hit on every play, or the
Mhm.
majority of them. And then we'll say, okay, well, they ran the ball power half the time, but did they do it in the fourth quarter, third
Mhm.
quarter, or the first quarter? Because it makes a
Right.
difference. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If you're running power early, you're tiring out that defensive line, and you don't get those games like we saw against the Eagles a year before last, where
Mhm.
what's his name? What's the guy's name? Defensive end number
Pollard.
7. No,
Oh,
for the
Hassan
Eagles,
Reddick.
for the Eagles.
Reddick.
Reddick.
Yeah.
Reddick
Yeah.
was killing. Reddick and Graham took turns killing still that game, and
Mhm.
they actually won the game because of the
Right.
pressures that they were getting from over there. But that's because you don't, when you see a Hassan Reddick, you do to him what teams do to us when they see a
Michael
Michael Parsons.
Parsons.
You
Right.
run power right at that guy, and you allow that bigger offensive lineman or those tight ends to double team him
Mhm.
until he's tired, so that he can't get off the ball in the fourth quarter the same way. We don't
Right.
have that type. We didn't have that type of developmental progressive mindset under
Mhm.
McCarthy. That is true. We were just coming out doing things that we think work, but at
Right.
any given time with no rhyme or reason and no continuity. So go
exactly.
ahead. Yeah, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
that's how
Yeah,
I feel.
exactly. I just feel like it wasn't. I mean, because even we knew this coming from Green Bay. Like Mike McCarthy
Right,
was a 10 personnel guy, how he won the Super Bowl.
right,
Like so he kind of uses the extended handoff or a swing pass, but he's not a physicality type coach. I
right.
think that's what's going to change when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer. It is what he knows, whether it's from his father, whether from
Yeah,
his time being in New York, under the Jets with Mangini, from his time being in, with under Pete Carroll. Like he is going to try to run the ball. Now, will he pull it off week 1 versus Philly? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I think that he is going to run the ball or die trying.
mm,
My question was just, do they have the personnel? We'll have
they
to see.
have
I
it.
think somebody eventually, probably around week 4 or week 5, we'll be having a conversation like, hey, bro,
You let these kids that we
yeah.
got started kids, these young men, I don't want to call them kids, but you let these young guys get off the ball and hit, and then you use Guyton and Steele's ability to get upfield, use that length and kind of they can just run screens. You know what I mean? And when I say run
Right.
screens, I don't mean screen passes. I mean the one thing I did like about the way Kellen Moore and his blocking scheme was when it came to um, when Steele got
Mhm,
off was he used to send Steele up the field. He was like reach blocking, linebackers. He would get
mhm,
upfield and just get in the way. He didn't have to be a bulldozer all the time, but they will also have him like trap blocking or crack down blocking on guys like Cox, and he was like blowing guys up
mhm,
consistently. It wasn't because he's a guy that's stout when hit. He's a guy that
mhm,
needs to get moving and hit something. And if you
mhm.
use him that way, Steele is great. If you're just saying,
Right.
"Hey, be a battering ram that or a wall to a battering ram," Steele's not that guy. Still
Right.
struggles with finesse pass rushers, or speed
Yeah.
rushers. So, you
And I
know,
also think the
go
same,
ahead.
not just with Steele, I think the same thing for Tyler Guyton last year being a rookie as well. Now I think that he'll probably be a little bit better. I know he's out there this is what listen to happen, Cowboys Nation. Tyler Guyton is ill with AKOYE because Tyler Guyton out there boxing in the rain, what I'm saying? So maybe AKOYE can get my dog right, get his
Yeah,
hands right.
yeah,
But
he'll
I
get
think that
nasty with it.
I think Tyler Guyton's gonna have a much improved season. But like I said, you just don't want to have this kid out there pass setting 40 plus times, especially
That's
versus
not a
this
good
early
idea.
front.
Yeah.
So when you think about this offense before we pivot over to defense, Okoye, what is your biggest question mark as we gear up to get ready for this camp next week in Oxnard?
For me, it's the run game. I think your wide receivers, 4 wide receivers deep, and even when you look at what's the other kid, Mingo, when you look at him too,
Mhm.
that's 5 receivers that we have that I like.
Right.
So for me, if you look at Pickens and CD, that combination is arguably one of the best duos in the league already on paper, right? And then you take a
Mhm.
Turpin and you put him in the mix. He's a dynamic playmaker. You put Tolbert in there, and I like Tolbert as your third, fourth tweener receiver better than I like him
Mhm.
as a second receiver, right?
Mhm.
And then you look at a guy like Mingo, who he's a question mark. We don't know what he really is because he hasn't
Mhm.
been with a quarterback. We don't even know what Pickens is, really. He hasn't
Right.
been with a quarterback like Dak Prescott. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of question marks, but I think that lean and glean on the positive in the wide receiver game. Then our tight ends, they're only going to benefit from the fact that you have those
Mhm.
wide receivers taken. If you take attention off of Ferguson, who was our second option last year, and you just make him one of 4, Ferguson's going to kill you because you
Right.
can't key in on him.
Right.
So that Pickens makes everyone on this offense instantly better. I think even the run game benefits from the fact that you see Pickens on the field, you're still going to have to respect him and CD, even if you're in 2
Mhm.
wide receiver sets. You still got to respect those 2 guys. So it gives less 10-man boxes when you're looking at it from that standpoint. So I think the
Right.
running game will probably be the biggest question mark because we don't know who the guy will be. And I think we'll be pleasantly surprised because what people are probably going to answer or what they were expecting me to answer as the question mark will probably be this shuffled new offensive line with
Mhm.
Zach Martin leaving and so on. But I think the not only the coaches but the personnel in regards to this offensive line, which I think is one of the deepest offensive lines we ever had.
Mhm.
There's a lot of players I don't mind playing that are on this
Right.
roster, right? Not saying they're great, but I don't mind them playing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think we overlooked the back half, like the Brock
Right.
Hoffman,
Yeah.
like in some of those guys, the
Austin,
Austin Richards, and so
Simmons,
there, yeah,
another. Yep.
there's a layer this year. I feel like last year we kind of
Right.
front, and I feel like just with the team personnel over as a whole. We were very front heavy last year. I feel like we got, especially with this draft class, I feel like we got a much better layer. But yeah, I 1000% agree with you, Koye, because when I was watching film last year, we did this on the channel. The most disappointing, most disrespectful thing for anyone knows who football, when someone is playing a wide receiver one-on-one man coverage with no safety help, and they was just doing that to Jalen Tolbert, like. And we go, I showed numerous clips where the single high safety was just shading towards CeeDee Lamb. Like, if he beats us over here, I know he got the number 1 jersey, but so be it, right? We're not focused on him. I dare teams to do that with George Pickens. So I just think just naturally, just having him on the field as that threat is going to make these corners peel back on the heels, which that's where you have to get creative with the run game, y'all. Not just simple hands off draws. We were talking about it on Twitter, I think a few weeks ago, about the lead handoff, the lead draws that Tony Romo used to do and Dak used to do.
I love those, man.
Like what happened to it? Like what happened?
That was a Cowboy staple, man. That was
it's like a Cowboy staple.
Parcells used to do that on like 3rd and 20. He would do it with Richards. Remember Richards, that fullback, tweener, running back type guy? He's like number 20. I remember he did that a couple times and would get first downs out of it or get forced to short because it would just be a surprise little draw play, a little quick handoff. And I love that, man.
Exactly. For a lot of defenses that just sit back and rush 4 and drop 7, like, where's the draws? Like, where's the creativity? So hopefully, I just think Shoddy's going to be, I just think it's going to be more modernized. So it's going to be more modernized. You're going to see some of those, what they call the Tyreek Hill motions, cheetah motions. Like, you're going to see some of those things. I think Shoddy and Clayton Adams is going to be able to unlock Kevontae Turpin if he gets his head on right. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that you'll see it's a new type of spirit when it comes to our offense, which a lot of Cowboys fans are excited about. But let's just keep it a buck, y'all. It starts and it ends with Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? So they going to send those signals. Whatever Dak sees, he ain't going to hear he go. He might have a new word, but depending on what he do, he might check in and out of it because, Dak is the engineer of the offense, but now he actually has the weapons to do it.
I'm beyond excited for Dak because here's the the pendulum swings and then you find kind of like balance or your equilibrium eventually. Well, the pendulum was on Ezekiel Elliott when Dak came in. Like, he had the running game, he had the great wall, but he wasn't this Dak. By the time he became this version of Dak, Zeke had some miles on him, and we didn't have the same Zeke, right? So Dak was carrying the team, and it was like, if Dak has a bad game, how many games can you think of where Dak just, you had games where Tony Romo didn't have to do shit because DeMarco Murray was doing his thing. Like, go ahead. Hey, it's over. It's over before it started.
That's what I want. Dak, bro. I want to game your damn, bro. Dak was 13 of 18, and we still won the game. But it's just not like that. And what I was trying to explain to people, bro, people forget this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of been crazy. It's been so many, almost 10 years from now, right?
Right.
We got Zeke to make life easier on an older Romo coming off that injury.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people forget why we drafted. Now, I was, I was out there in Chicago. I was Florida State up because I thought we was going to get my corner, what I'm saying, for Florida State and Jalen. We did, but we got him, Zeke, to make life easier on Tony Romo with that run game. It ended up making life easier on Dak. So why can't we, let me ask you that, 'cause I did a video on this. Why do you think we've lost that dynamic running back? Because that's what the Cowboys have been built off of historically.
I think, sometimes when you what did they say? Comparison is the
D for joy.
Yeah, the death of joy or something like that, or the killer of joy, or whatever that means. I think watching what the Patriots were doing with Tom Brady and then your Burkheads and your running backs by committees, your running backs that were long in the tooth, the Corey Dillons and those guys they're just using anybody. Like, all right, because they had a certain system of ball that they played, and you had guys that were willing to take pay. Because I think watching them play money ball the way they did made people think that, and then you hear people saying you devalue the running back position. And when they did that, it wasn't a truth. Sometimes you tell something that is, there's a difference between truth, like a universal truth, and then something that is true because you're observing it happen, right? And running backs were devalued by owners because they don't want to invest as a business in somebody that might get hurt in 2 years, or might break down after a year and a half. I understand not wanting to pay the ridiculous money for running backs, but you can't tell me that a Barry Sanders isn't a difference maker and isn't and is devalued on your team. Like, you don't need one. no. Devalue doesn't mean lack of need. It means we want to devalue this financially. We don't devalue it schematically. And I think that's what's been happening. We're turning into a passing league. No. The teams that win in December run the ball.
Run the ball. Facts.
The teams that win in December can stop the run. That's it.
It's simple football. Whether you coach little league football all the way up to NFL, if you can run the ball and stop the run, you're gonna be in a lot of games. You're gonna be in a lot of games, y'all. I mean, even on video games, So like, it's just I just don't understand it. But I think you're right. I think something happened when the Cowboys sat back and watched the Patriots, and they wanted to do the things the Patriots way. But now it's changing. You know what I'm saying? You in Philly, now it's changing back to being that old, more aggressive, putting everything on the table, 6 voided years on contract, so that Patriots way worked when you had Tom Brady as your quarterback. The Patriots way ain't working right now. And so other teams are finding ways financially. But what I'm trying to explain to people is, listen, y'all, I get it for those of you online who say we shouldn't pay a running back that much. Well, how about, this is a Tuck theory, we stop burning our 4th round picks and we draft a quality running back in the 4th round for hella cheap. I do tons of video breakdowns every year.
We did that with Pollard.
I mean, we
do it like we ain't getting no money though.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So we could have had a Bucky Irvin for the low, but we burnt that 4th round pick for Trey Lance to try to prove a point. So it's like there are ways to get running backs for low value and get quality. I just think the Cowboys got to figure it out. But it's kind of crazy seeing all these teams now value the running back position. We're still kind of like, oh, we got some guys. We signed Javonte Williams for a 1-year deal, Tuck. Quick crime. Like it was on day one. That's vicious. You like him?
I like him because when I watch him run, like I like guys who love football and I like violence.
Right.
He's to me and how everybody like to beat up my comparisons. He's a beast mode style running back, like meaning he fights when he probably shouldn't, which is probably why he got injured in the first place. He fights for extra yardage when he should chill. I should have ran out of balance. Zeke used to do it. Zeke got hurt when he hurt his knee the last time jumping over that guy in Detroit. Should have went out of bounds. He went out of bounds. It would have been a great play. But he's gonna do it anyway. It's like Ron Burgundy. Oh no, it wasn't Ron Burgundy. It was Talladega Nights. He's like, don't stab yourself with that knife.
Right.
Do it anyway. He's like, you're not paralyzed. He stabbed himself anyway. He's like, Zeke, don't run him over, Zeke. Zeke will do that shit anyway. So I think Javonte Williams is another guy like that. Like when we played him, I think he was in Chicago. We played him maybe 2-3 years ago. And
we played him in Denver.
It was Denver. It was
that Denver game.
I just saw the orange. I thought maybe it was Chicago.
I was in the building for that noon game in Denver.
He ran on us.
He ran Denver. Remember that was the game Denver blew us out and just went crazy. Because blew us out the building.
Yeah, we could not tackle him, and I thought that we weren't tackling very well because I didn't know who he was. I was like, maybe the Cowboys suck at we just can't tackle. We soft. Until I started watching this film, I said, "Oh, this is just what he does to everyone." So I like that pick because of that. And one thing I wanted to say before you go on, when we talk about the trenches again, when we talk about Philly, because you brought Philly up, I said this to somebody, and it's like, because I was going to do a video on it, but we don't need to. I just talk about it right now, man.
There you go.
The tush push or whatever you want to, brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, right? It is a quarterback sneak. That's all it is. I'm not diminishing it. It's really just a quarterback sneak. He's 92% effective when he does it on 4th downs and 3rd and short, whatever, short yardage plays. Last year, 85 or 87% something. But do you know what the history of the quarterback sneak was when we were actually, run heavy teams, odd form teams, and quarterbacks actually did quarterback sneaks? You know what the success rate was then in the 80s and the 90s? 90%. We act like the football got so soft. That they just brought back the quarterback sneak, and we act like it's something new and dynamic to the point we want to vote it out of the game. You get what I'm saying? Because we got that soft in the trenches. It's just a QB sneak. It's just as effective as QB sneaks have been throughout the history of football.
They just brought it back. And typically things go in a cycle. And it felt like, we kind of had the Mahomes passing league and everybody wanted the glitz and glamour of speedy wide receivers. And then they figured out, why don't we just line up with 2 tight ends and punch these teams down the throat and slow down the game, take the air out the ball.
Right.
Oh yeah, and so now you're seeing it kind of come trendy, and it's time for the Dallas Cowboys to finally get ahead of the curve. We're always kind of behind it, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we know what I'm saying. We a little delayed a little bit. I feel like Shotty's getting
Finally.
there, but we a
Yeah.
little delayed. So hopefully we can get back to it. Now I want to pivot over to our the defensive side of the ball. Man, salute to everybody watching. We got over 1,000 people watching right now.
Oh, man.
Smash the like button, share the content. I see the super chats. Keep them rolling. We're gonna get to them at the end of the show. But we're gonna keep cooking with AKOYE, you know what I'm saying? Got my dog here in the building. The defense. So we brought back Matt Eberflus. You know, he had that run in 2016, you know, back when Jalen Smith was swiping and LVE. You know what I'm saying? I love him. You know what I'm saying? I love that duo. I got a jersey with both their numbers on it. But yeah, he went to the Colts, also had his stint in Chicago as a head coach. Didn't work out too well, but he's brought back. The defense is going to our third offensive or defensive coordinator in 3 years. When it comes to this defense, what is your expectations for the defense, AKOYE, under Matt Eberflus in his next tenure in Dallas?
Well, I will say this is a loaded roster when it comes to depth, right? Matt Eberflus himself has never had a defense like this, I don't think. So I have very high expectations because just like I said with Shotty, I'm not giving any excuses to anybody on this team. No players or coaches, no quarters will be given, right? Due to the fact that, everything that he could even ask for, he has. He has a loaded loaded linebacker room now. And we know a year before last, we didn't have a linebacker on the team except for, I think, Rashad Evans. And we were arguing, should Micah Parsons go back to playing linebacker, which I still would love. But
so let's have that conversation. Do you think it's going to happen? Because I mean, I've been on your team. You thought about that. I know a lot of people have. And honestly, bro, when I sat back and I watched the schedule release, and Micah had on his, he had on his little cowboy shirt. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he looks a little leaner. He looks a little leaner.
He's going to do some things there, but I think that
still edge hand in the dirt.
And I'll tell you why. I think that they think he will probably take a step back if he played his true position. And this is not an argument saying that he should solely play linebacker. I think people think that. I think that.
Right.
This is just an understanding as to how great of a player he is. I'm like, and this is what my argument was. I'm like, is Micah Parsons the greatest, pass rusher in the game right now? You can argue yes, no, top 3, whatever you want to say, right? Is he the greatest linebacker in the game right now if he was just a linebacker? You can argue Fred Warner will probably have that, right? And there's other guys that you could say, oh, he's a better linebacker, solely a linebacker, right? But Fred Warner can't pass rush.
Right.
You could say that Myles Garrett is better pass rusher. Okay.
Right.
But he can't play linebacker. The things that Micah Parsons can do on a football field or to a team, if you had him just literally, the focal point of the defense, meaning we're funneling everything to you as a middle, number one. And instead of him being 1 of 4, you can pause it right here, actually, so I can demonstrate this. So when we play a 4-3, Micah Parsons is 1 of 4, meaning we can double team him as a defensive end on the edge, right?
Okay.
Micah Parsons off ball, that offensive line is occupied. It doesn't matter who you can get an extra pass rusher on the field or extra defensive end on the field. And then there's no way that the offensive line can key in on Micah Parsons when he's off the ball. And I don't mean keep him off the ball playing coverage. I mean, make him 1 of 5. I don't care if you did it in 3-4, where there's 4 other linemen on the line and he gets to play like TJ Watt. I'm fine with that too. You know what I mean? I just want him to be 1 of 5. That's what I mean when I say let him play.
Because if you're looking at the diagram right now, so what AKOYE is saying is, let's say Micah is number 0. And I agree with this, right? Because what you can do is you can have Sam Williams at this end, who's built to take on this double team, probably that's about to come from this tight end, and then let Micah rush, and then he's going to be one-on-one with who I think that's Taylor at the running back position. But when you have him covered all this off the line of scrimmage, just like we said with Hassan Reddick, we know, hey, just chip him, keep double teaming, or how about this? We'll just run to the right and run away from him, right? To fully take him out of the game. I would like to see Micah at the second level a lot more, especially with Overshown being out, because I feel like he's more dynamic. There can be certain situations where he can come down here and put his hand in the dirt.
Right.
But when you make him so easy to locate, I feel like you're really taking away from his skills. Because I've said this before. If Micah was to play safety, he'd probably be one of the best safeties in the league. Like he's just
any position
that talented. He's just that talented.
You just spoke to it though. If look at this same diagram, right? Right now, if this is the other thing that he can do just from the threat that he is, right, as a pass rusher. Micah Parsons standing right, if he were to walk down to the center, stand in the A gap right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to key in on him,
Right.
even if he's not coming. So guess what?
Right.
Everybody else on the line just got better
Right.
because they don't have
I
to.
think there's a clip of that actually. Hold on, let me see. Where Eberflus walks the linebacker down directly over in the A gap. Let me see, where is it at? It's on here somewhere. Because I just saw it. But yeah, because what's gonna happen is just naturally, y'all, let me see if I can find the clip. Where is it? Is it this one? But that's not it. It's gonna be one of these clips. I know I had it clipped. Because I was saying I saw the linebacker. I saw the I know I had it. Where is it? It's probably at the end.
Okay.
Because I know that what I was saying is that, like, even with Zim being gone, that double A gap mug that Zim had, you probably want to keep it. You probably want to keep it because when you have someone like Micah, maybe I didn't clip it, but I remember I saw it. But what Koye is saying, right? If you have Micah just stand in the A gap, every offensive line has to now put their slide protects where number 11 is. And so even if he shows and drops or he comes in the A gap, and you can have him rush and get centers. So imagine snapping the ball, having a pass set, and do all that while number 11 is either stunting, pass rushing. There's so many different things you can do with this man. And I'm just like, I don't understand just leaving him off the edge because I feel like you're not getting the full Micah Parsons experience, to be honest with you.
Here's the deal, right? Moneyball is real, right? Micah Parsons will probably make more money and it's easier for, like, a lot of people gave was it Jesse fourth down guy. Jesse, what's his last name?
Oh, Jesse Holley.
Jesse Holley. They gave him hell for what he said about Micah. I think he articulated it way wrong. I don't think his intentions were that bad when he was talking about how good I think he was trying to say how good Micah Parsons actually is and could be, but he screwed that up. But anyway, reason I bring that up is because you have to think about why people were having this argument in the first place. He skipped his last year because of COVID. So he had the COVID year off and still got drafted top 12 as a middle linebacker because of that's how good he was at linebacker. And yes, he can play, he can pass rush too. Yes.
And so what's crazy, we had Brian Broaddus on the show once, and we kind of went through some draft stuff, and he was saying that the scout that scouted Micah didn't even know he could rush off the edge.
That's what I'm saying.
So he was like, how did you guys know? I was like, well, I watched, the Memphis game. He was rushing off the edge, right? But yeah, so they didn't even know Micah was an edge rusher. Because remember what happened that year, y'all. DeMarcus Lawrence got hurt, and Dan Quinn said, hey, kid,
go ahead, man.
You know what I'm saying? Let's try it. And the rest has been history. So that shows his talent that he has. Because you remember Tom Brady had him kind of lost in space that first game.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but you could do those types of things. I mean, who is this coming off the edge? This is for the Bears. But like when you have a Fowler that can peel off this edge, because right now, they're kind of having they got 6 showing. They're stacking the box, right? You can do that with this personnel that we have, because I feel like our ends is super heavy. You know what I'm saying, Koye? I can't wait till you get a hold of something that, because Donovan Zikaraku, you have Marshawn Sam Williams. And so I feel like Eberflus can really have a field day with rushers that you just don't need Micah being here battling versus Lane Johnson all game.
No,
if
we do that, that's the worst use of Micah Parsons ever. I'm really serious. Like, people think that I'm saying this as a fan and I just want Micah Parsons to be a middle linebacker. I'm saying it because he's not going to play forever.
Right.
You have an opportunity. If you want to really compare him to LT, you want to compare him to some of the greatest guys in the game, make him a player that no one else could be. Like Ray Lewis is, you could say, the greatest linebacker, right, that we've seen, right? Ray Lewis wasn't getting 10 sacks a season, though. Right. So if you can make Micah Parsons a player that can get you 80 to 90 tackles or 100 tackles plus per season, but also 10 sacks per season. He don't gotta get 22 sacks.
Yeah, 10 sacks and 10 sacks and an interception and a fumble recovery.
If he's 110, meaning 100 tackles, 10 sacks a season, you've never seen anything like that from a middle from any player, any defensive player. And then he's affecting the pass game as well. And if you watch anybody who challenges that, just watch his college film. The reason I was telling you that it probably won't happen, though, is he skipped his COVID year. He was drafted. Then like you said, the Marcus Lawrence got hurt. He played defensive end. He didn't get to sit in those linebacker rooms for that year, the year after, and the year after that. So he's now 4 or 5 years removed from actually being a true linebacker mentally. So the catch up or the learning curve will probably be crazy if he had to just settle back at linebacker. I think that's what the holdup is. People forget he was playing off of athleticism mainly anyway, and then he skipped a year, so he wasn't in the coach. He didn't get coached up at linebacker, and then his first year he got removed from that room because we needed him at defensive end, and the rest is this. So that's why I think he's where he is. It's not he's not better prototypically as a linebacker. I think it's just
anybody that could coach him. It's Matt Eberflus.
That's why
anyone that can short that learning curve is Matty E. You know what I'm saying? In Cowboys Nation, I want y'all to do a quick exercise. All right, everybody, just close your eyes for a minute and imagine Overshown, Micah, and Maris just hawking stuff down at the linebacker. It's just close your eyes. Can y'all see it? Can y'all vision? Those simple tosses that we get hawked on and get let go for 15 yards. You have Overshown on it, Micah blitzing the A gap, Maris dropping back in coverage. Like, it could be scary, but I went to Koye. I just think that this time, you know what I'm saying, after they pay Micah the money, he gonna be a full-time edge. But I just think that it's just I don't know. But speaking of the defense, Koye, since you've kind of been away, it's been this hot topic button about the defensive tackle, specifically the one tech, right? I feel like just watching, because I was getting in my draft feels watching this film, because my dog Javon Dexter out of Florida, who I love, right there, the big number 99, playing the 3 tech, was going absolutely insane in this film. And I was like, damn, I should just do a film session on Javon Dexter. So I feel like Osa Odighizuwa is going to have another great year under Eberflus's scheme. But there's a lot of questions. I know what's his name? Coach Greg Ellis came out and spoke on a podcast on DLS about Mozzie Smith maybe not working out in this scheme either. So what is your thoughts when it comes to the true one tech? Do you think that there's still a void when it comes to the Cowboys right now defensively? Do you think we should go get a guy? Do you think that we have enough in Mozzie and Jay Toye, which I personally don't want to rely on the 7th round guy? But what's your thoughts there when it comes to the one tech position?
Well, number one, I throw rounds out of the window. It's like, what type of impact can you give me? And, what type of player are you, especially when I'm talking about a one tech, because it's a devalued position, right? You're not usually going to draft a one tech very high anyway, because they're not getting no stats. When you look at, what's the kid's name that played behind Toya, Jay Toya in UCLA that got drafted pretty high, number 49, the linebacker. What's his name? Carson, whatever. Yeah. When I watch Jay Toya's film, I watch a lot of his film. When I watch his film, he would have, let's say, a third to a half of a game as far as the run fits anyway. Anything between the tackles, he would affect, right? Even on the edges, he was affecting it, sideline to sideline. And the reason he was affecting it is because he's affecting the block scheme or the blocking scheme in front of him. In front of his linebackers. So linebackers running free the whole game. He wasn't recording stats though. So he's not, he actually, caused interceptions as well, because he was jumping upfield, getting in the A gap and getting pressures or unexpected pressures on the quarterback in the A gap. So he caused an interception, I think, as well in that same game. So I'm like, okay, watching this guy and Toya's effect on the game, is he a 7th round impact in regards to the way he plays? No, but he's a 7th round draft pick. But to answer your question, when I look at Mozzie's film for last year, and I really do mean this, and people go on, say what they say. He had a play in Baltimore where Henry scored, right? And everybody's like, that was Mozzie's gap. He was the guard reached out, literally grabbed him and turned him. Not like he didn't get blocked. He got yanked and turned, right? And I can show you that play if you felt like looking at it. But that was the one gap or one play where I was like, God damn, like what happened? And that's what had happened. When I watched Micah Parsons get held, I say Micah Parsons got held. And that's why that person got to the edge. When I watched DeMarcus Lawrence get held, DeMarcus Lawrence got held. That's why he gave up the play there, right? Whether they call it or not. I think when we look at Mozzie, because of the year he had his first year, which he was 290, we look at those types of plays when he doesn't have that benefit of the doubt on those types of plays, even if he's held, because that was the one play I looked at where I'm like, damn, against Baltimore, where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, that was a bad rep. Outside of that, I broke them down. I put them on Twitter. I
Mhm.
watched Mozzie Smith's snaps in those
Mhm.
games. Mozzie Smith played well his second season. Not
See,
great.
I
He
try
didn't.
I see, I think that's the hard part, right? Because I think that, unfortunately, right, he has that first round label on him. Because
Right?
I did a video, because I think it was against the Giants or something like that. I was like, hey man, he's taking leaps forward in the right direction now. Is he great? And Chris Jones? No, but he improved from his rookie season. But Cowboys Nation doesn't want
I
to
just
hear
look
that
at it
because
like this.
one
Go ahead.
text they don't
They
put
ain't
up stats, so it's not trendy. But yeah, I think he did take steps in the right direction.
100%. And if you look at it this way and say, all right, look, Mozzie Smith at 290, if he was 340 or 330, three anything, and he was
Mhm.
playing the way he played his first year, if we didn't know that we were trying to ask this guy to have a better get off so he could be more of a pass rusher as well because of his grade and because of the round he was in. If we didn't know that those things existed and he played the way he played his first year, and or if those things didn't exist and he played the way he played, I can understand the hate because then he
Mhm.
was a bust. When he played at his true weight last year,
Mhm.
I didn't hate it. He didn't have the
Mhm.
endurance that I would want,
Right.
but he didn't have an off season either, and he
Yeah.
had to get his weight back up. So he didn't get his
Mhm.
weight back up from lifting weights. That wasn't muscle he put on. He put on
Right.
just fat to try to get his weight
Mhm.
back up because he hurt his shoulder. He wasn't working out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, what he put up, not having an off season and not being really tuned in, I was okay with that. Was it
Mhm.
great? No, it wasn't great, but he
Right.
played good enough for me to say
Right.
I like what I saw out of Mozzie last year, and that's truth.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
anybody who says different, they're looking at his first year and then they're going with those odds and judging every snap that
Mhm.
they watch in the second year. But if you just
Right.
do it like we watch boxing, I turn the noise off. I'm not listening to the commentary. I'm just
Mhm.
watching. Sometimes I'll block the top of the screen and just watch their feet. Right.
Right.
If you watch Mozzie from an analytical standpoint, just take the broadcast noise off. Take all of the commentators that say we want him to do better, which who doesn't? Take
Right.
all that out of your mind and just watch what he did last year and put a different number on his jersey if you want. He
Mhm.
played fine. He
Yeah.
played fine.
Yeah.
And
I
he
think
hit
so.
yeah.
And also what people got to understand, he also played better in a more complicated scheme. I feel like Matt Eberflus's scheme is going to be more Dan Quinn spirited. It's more like get up field, but Zim likes, Zim wants things his way. He wants sacrificing, two gap and different things like that, right? But I feel like Eberflus is going to play to these players' strengths defensively. So I feel like Mozzie getting his weight on, getting a little bit more confidence. I think the most important thing for Mozzie is to get a sponsor. Like someone's like, you know what, bro, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like I got you. I know you, but I just feel like three different defensive coordinators, three defensive staffs in
Yeah.
3 years. Someone has to really buy into Mozzie, but I personally don't think that's enough, of course, right? You want to have a rotation, and that's where it's really going to rely on Jay, because outside of that, the one tech, your big physical, fat, nasty, it gets a little bit leaner. That's when you kind of lean maybe towards Solomon Thomas, maybe sliding inside, Sam, right? Since I want 3 Warren sacks. Yeah, we all want 3 Warren sacks. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we
Actually
all
make it
do,
4. Give me 4. Yeah, 4 of
right.
them actually. So would you go bring in an outside guy at one tech, or do you think that we can just go through Oxnard, see what we have, and then address it from there?
I think the Cowboys historically at this time of year they bring in this is when we get our veteran defensive players each year. Um, I'm looking at right now the two positions that I think that they would probably be looking at is corner and defensive tackle, one tech. Yep. Um, I argue a lot, right, about players, right, and I will challenge you because you watch film. Now I can say this straight to you, and I know you know some of these guys, so don't think it's no shade. I'm a
Now go
Cowboy.
ahead. They know I keep it real.
You can watch my film of Osa when Osa was in UCLA. I love Osa, right?
Mhm.
I love Osa as a pass rusher. I love Osa as a hustle player that gets upfield and just makes impact plays. Yes, but a lot of the plays against the run where we are struggling, Osa is part of that problem, right?
Mhm.
We ignore and a lot more than Mozzie. And to be
Mhm.
honest, it's just that run fits isn't the three tech's sole job. So
Right.
okay, sometimes you don't know. Hey, what was he asked to do here? Was he stunting?
Mhm.
Was he asked to get upfield? Why did he give up that gap, or why did he get pushed out of there so easy? Like what was going on?
Mhm.
But I saw a lot of that from our 3 tech and our 1 tech, right? So I look at the entire interior line and I say, okay, schematically, it can't just be, these guys just aren't good. Schematically, what are we asking these guys to do?
Right.
And I think that Eberflus is a good mixture of Quinn and Zim in the way he deploys his defensive line, because his defensive lines think like Zim when it comes to stop the run first. We stopping the run. Then we're going to let our linebackers roam free, and then we're going to make plays. That's how they think. Boom, boom, boom. This is the progression of your thought process.
Yeah.
With Quinn, I think it was
more like get your candy first before you eat your candy before dinner.
Go. Everybody get there. Go. And I only value if you get sacks. A sack, what is the difference between a sack and a tackle for loss?
Bro,
what is the difference? Tell me.
Bro,
the impact on a game difference. What's the difference?
I've had this conversation because there's some people think tackles for losses don't matter. Some people think pressures don't matter. I think I had to do a video on it because somebody. So yeah, what's the difference? I would actually prefer tackles for losses over sacks.
If you tackle the ball behind the line of scrimmage and they lose yards and that down, you did the same thing you did if you sacked the guy. You just one is tackling the running back. The other one's tackling the quarterback. I don't give a damn if my defensive tackles get 0 sacks. Do you make plays on the other side of the ball consistently? That's all I want them doing. Linebackers too. I don't care if you're getting 100 tackles. Are they 5 yards off the ball? And if that is the case, are you running the cover 2 scheme where you're taking 5 steps back, before you assess run? Then it's okay to do that. But if you're not in a cover 2 scheme, you better be making plays on the other side of that damn ball. And I better see you have tackles for losses. So tackles for losses count.
Yeah, 5.5 tackles for losses. But Mozzie doesn't get credit for that. They want sacks.
That's the same as a sack to me.
It's the same. It's a sack for a defensive tackle. You know what I'm saying?
You can get me double digits in tackles for losses and sack combination out of a Mozzie, meaning you give me 6 or 7 or hopefully 10 tackles for loss in the run game, and you give me 5 solid sacks or 3 sacks. I'm cool with that stat line. I'm fine with that. That's what I think he should be doing. Same thing for Osa. Does he need 12 or 10 sacks? He's not Aaron Donald. Give me 5 sacks, 6 sacks, and a good 8, 9 tackles for loss. That's where he should be if we're going to talk stats, right? That's what we weren't seeing. But I think when you look at Eberflus, he's a good combination because his defensive line, they're stout at the point of attack when it comes to the run. If you look at Darius Leonard, his time there with Darius Leonard was great. Why? Because he had Buckner and all these other guys just destroying at the line of scrimmage where he could just float to the ball. Why was he punching balls out? Pause. But why was he punching the ball out so effectively at that time? Because he's free. He's not shedding. He's not you're not punching the ball out when you got a 340-pound guy reach blocking you in the second level and knocking you out of there. You're not going to do it. But when you're free, because those guys can't get to you, you're free to make decisions like that. You're going to see a lot more of those forced turnovers, and they're not. And the defensive line will never get the credit for it. Because you see the linebackers play great, they can all be all pros. Defensive line will never get the credit for what they're really doing. And if you're not watching, if you watch or pay attention, and this is not shade because I'm cool with some of those guys over there at PFF, but if you're just watching it and saying PFF grades said this, I know how PFF grades, right? They say, hey, you are going to just watch defensive tackles and we're going to count the positive plays he makes. But the plays he makes statistically, does he make a tackle, sack? Does he shed a block and get close to it? Did he get a piece of the guy? Okay. What happens when I take 2 players out and this guy makes a play? Do I get anything for that? No.
What happens? Or I did a crowd stunt and my end curls around and gets pressure and gets a sack. You know what I'm saying?
What happens when the tight end can't trap block my defensive end because I penetrated so deep up the field with this guard and I pushed him into his path, and now I disrupted the whole integrity of this run scheme or this run play, and now this defensive end runs free, makes a hit, makes a tackle. Does the defensive tackle get credit for that? No, he does in maybe the film room with his team, but he's not going to get it from us. And unless you watch the film and watch it that way, you're not going to give it to him. You're just going to say, hey, PFF scores him low, so he's low. And they're scoring him low because it's not a stat-ridden position. It's not a position where, hey, you're going to get stats. It's a position where it says, hey, you're going to affect the game by even just the call, just mentally affect the game. Hey, 58's out there. We're not going to run power up the middle. We're going to run on the perimeter this play. Now we know we're dictating what they do based off of just him being there. Even if they're making plays on the outside, they might make a 15-yard run on the outside, right? That only happened because they won't run on the inside. You know what I mean? There's things that are happening. If you're not judging the game that way, I don't really, and this is not arrogance, but I just really don't care what people are saying if they're not judging it that way. If you're judging it from stats, I don't have a conversation for you.
Yeah, stats does not tell the whole story. You know what I'm saying? Because what people also understand when it comes to the offensive line, they always talk about the chain, right? The weakest part of the chain is in the middle. So if you have someone in the interior that can break that chain in the middle and get that push, it opens up everything for the guys on the perimeter, but also if you're blitzing linebackers, because what people got to understand, like Okoye is saying, Matt Eberflus, I mean, I think he's going to do it a lot more in Dallas than he did in Chicago because now he has the personnel to do it. But he traditionally doesn't blitz a lot, right? He's pretty much 4-man pressure, sit back, 7 underneath, soft zone, keep your eyes on the ball, getting turnovers, kind of playing that type of ball. But when you have all these weapons, he gonna send a few on go, right? So I just think that having Mozzie geared up and ready for this season is going to be a lot better. I would, if I had to say, this will probably be the best season we will see from Mozzie Smith. And I'm not saying he's gonna be all pro. I'm not saying he's gonna be Pro Bowl.
But let me ask you a question while you on that then. If last season, and I know you kind of okay with Mozzie last season, so I'm gonna ask you this, and then it's kind of to the fans as well. Just ask yourself, if last season, which it really was his rookie year, if last season was Mozzie's rookie year, and you look at his first season as a red shirt because he wasn't himself. So if last season was his rookie year, would you be mad at the performance?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Me either.
I mean, honestly,
I would say he got to get better.
If that was Mozzie's rookie season, I would say personally he overdid my expectation I had. Yeah, because I had like a 3rd round grade on Mozzie. I liked his physicality, but I didn't like his gas miles. What you talked about? I feel like it was one big play when you watched him at Michigan, and then it was just like, well, where is he? And I remember watching the old-fashioned way when I watched him versus Steve Avila, or whatever you want to call him, out of TCU, the guard that we were talking about as well. Like, it was a play where he just blew Steve up, and I was like, okay, we got a dog. And then it was just like, all right,
what happened after that? the game that destroyed it for me, it was like, yeah, he had those games where he would make a splash and he would kind of disappear. But the game that kind of messed it up for me and what made me fall in love with Mozzie was the Ohio State game.
Okay.
That entire offensive line was pro ready. I said, they're all NFL worthy linemen. And he went up and down the line, beat the shit out of, excuse my French, he beat the hell out of all of those guys up and down the line, right? From end to end. And destroyed that game. So I said, oh, he made about, when I say made, I mean he affected 20 plays in that game. And I'm like, it's only 50, 60 snaps. He's a third of the game is Mozzie. So I loved him from that day forward. But I was saying, hey, he has to be able to put that on the field consistently, you know, from an NFL standpoint. But I thought last year he had games where we were kind of, he would make a play, like he made a play against the Giants, right? He got the backfield and like destroyed the running back, right? And I think I was like, was that Mozzie? And it's like, okay. Then they're waiting for him to screw up. They're waiting for the foot to drop, so they ignore the impact of some of the plays.
They ignored it. Yeah, I think I did the film breakdown after that game. I was like, I don't care. It's just the. I'm like, God damn.
Let me see if I got this for you. I might have the film. Let me see if I got these video for you. Because if I do, I'll present it because I might have something for you. I don't know if it's on this computer or my other computer though.
Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Keep sharing the content, keep liking the content. We see all y'all questions. Let's see here. I saw a good question about impact from free agency. On the defense from free agents. I think the biggest impact, I would probably say, if I had to lean that way, for me, it'd probably be Solomon Thomas. I think Solomon Thomas is probably going to be the biggest impact. But me personally, we'll talk about it here in a second after Koye finds the film, but I was a huge Kaiir Elam fan out of the University of Florida. I like the kid coming out of the University of Florida. I like his toughness. I like his athleticism. I like his size. You know, things didn't really work out for him in Buffalo. So I feel like maybe a new change of scenery for Kaiir Elam. I feel like he could be one of those that turns up. But I would probably say Solomon Thomas would probably be my free agent defensively. That would probably be like, he's going to be decent.
Solomon Thomas, I love.
Yeah, Solomon Thomas as well. And then also, you know, I like Kenneth Murray. I like Kenneth Murray as well, out of Tennessee. I feel like he's going to be a solid tackler. brute force. You know, I know a lot of people are high on Jack Sanborn. I personally just didn't have enough film to lean either way on him, so we'll have to sit back and see.
I like Sanborn a lot, and
Like,
I can I can explain why I like Sanborn a
okay,
lot too. Hold on. Okay, so let me see if I can share this. Hold on.
all right,
I got it on Twitter. It's not in my files anymore because I probably erased it from my computer once I posted it. But let me come back over to StreamYard real quick. Boom. All right, let me hit present. Let's see, share screen, and go to this. Boom. All right, yeah, you can see it. Share. All right,
boom.
can you see that?
Yeah, so
Okay.
let
All right, let me
me
blow
do
it up.
this.
All right, now if I blow it up, can you see it better now?
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Okay, this is
Oh,
mostly
in the lab.
Mozzie, right? So when I'm watching these games, I'm like, okay, right now he's taking on, he's trying to hold up that double team. Boom, sheds. Now does he make this play? No, right? Does he make the play himself? No. Does he do his job there though?
Right.
Yes. Both linebackers met at the ball because of what Mozzie is doing. This is good ball. I don't have a problem with this. And the reason I showed one game, not only because this isn't just one game, but the reason I show multiple plays from one game is because it's not just, hey, do you make splash plays? I don't want to see the highlights. I want to see what was your impact on this game. How well did the rest of the players play because you were there, right? And that's what I saw. We already looked at 2 plays out of the 61 semi snaps, defensive snaps this game, and he
Look
didn't
at
even
that
play
pop of the
61
ball.
snaps. Probably only played like 30 snaps, but you can see the type of impact he was having in his game. Now we will watch this type of stuff, and we'll say, you know, if he does make a play like he does here, right? We give him credit for the tackles he makes. We didn't give him credit for the change direction that was forced here, right? You're not going to get a stat for this.
Right,
This
and pushing that and pushing that offensive lineman back. Right, pushing the offensive lineman back and causing the running back to readjust. You know,
this
like,
is all Demo. This had nothing to do with Mozzie, but it was like,
man, I can't wait to get Demo back.
Yeah, this is just Demo right here. Mozzie not on the field here, but same concept. Like, you see guys making plays. I just put that in there because of what Demo did. Let me put this whole play in here. You can just watch it if you want to. And then we'll get back. I
can't wait to get Demo back fully.
Yeah, I can't wait to get him back too. And that's the other question mark is like, okay, yeah, Zim runs that double A gap, so that gave Demo a lot of versatility with blitzes and everything else. What will Demo look like when he gets back? And in this scheme, it's gonna be a question as to, I mean, even though Eberflus is like I said, linebacker guru, so I think he only gets better. I don't think Eberflus is gonna be missing or absent on the talent that Demo possesses. All right, but back to Mozzie.
I think, but I still think that he'll see it, and it's just hard not to use. I just think that he'll mix it up a little bit. Because I was watching the film on what was I was watching, but I was watching when we played Washington, bro. Zim had Jaden Daniels in a frenzy with that double A gap. Like he was all over the place. So it's like you got to keep someone on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I feel like they play well with it.
You got to keep it. I think when you're looking at a Michael Parsons and a Demo, and you say, hey, can these guys pass rush? Yes, from the middle. I mean, yes. And then you put them behind a Osa, and then you allow Fowler and Sam Williams to get on the field at the same time, or Ezaraku to get on the field at the same time, with any of those combinations of guys you want on the field at the same time. Even if you wanted to say, hey, we want to stop the run, but we think they might pass on early downs, cool. You put a Nealon out there and a Sam Williams out on the edge, and then you keep, your one tech in the middle, and then keep Osa out there. But now you take Micah off ball and Demo, and they're in the A gap. So you're still able to pass rush, but you have a run front out there at the same time. Plus, you're loading the box. It's like a lot of combinations you can do with that. But when you look at this is another play. So this is all one game. How many plays did I count so far? It's four plays that I count. 4 or 5,
right? Exactly.
Fourth play right here, right? Does he make this play? No. But did he make the play? Yeah. Right. See what I'm saying? Mozzie's not going to get credit for that. So when people are I'm trying not to curse.
No, you can go ahead. Really.
People sitting on his game because he's not doing this every single play, right? This play here, boom. Does he shed and get to the ball? Yeah. Does he make the play? No.
Right.
Nope. You know what I'm saying?
That's not going to show up on the stat sheet.
Right. Right. He's not making the tackle, but he's making the play. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Right there, he didn't
Right.
make the tackle, but he made that play. I'm fine with what he's
Mhm.
doing, and this is all one game, so it can't say,
Right.
"Oh man, that's just a splash play you cherry
And that's
picking."
versus because the what is his name? John Michael Smith, right? He was out of Minnesota. Look at my draft kicking in for the Giants center. So that's a decent
Right.
center. I think he was like a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, y'all. So
It's just like
right,
I said, irregardless, even if he was washing up some bums, it's cool. Like it's bum time. It's bum time now, right? He can get your
right,
stat boosting up, but he doesn't get the credit for those plays that he just made. But then he goes and does this, right? Boom,
right.
right after that. Oh, who was
Mhm,
that? That's Mozzie, right? So that's
mhm.
7 plays or 6 right now that I'm in where I'm like Mozzie's having an impact on the run game. Now, was it every single game of the season? No. But
Right,
when he was on, he was doing things like this for an entire game or for
right,
all of his snaps.
right,
We will look at like, okay, those guys ran on us or they got yards on us, but was it his gap or was
right,
he on the field? It doesn't matter if he was on the team. Was he on the field and did they run at him? Are they picking on Mozzie? Hell
right,
no. No, you're not
right.
picking on Mozzie in
Yeah.
this game. That's 7 plays into this film. And this film is probably like a couple more minutes long. I'm gonna just keep jumping up because I don't want to keep putting Demo in it. So let me
We can watch Debo. He was we do a whole other.
so Demo's just like you already
Things
see
like
this,
you're
like
saying, bro. So think about this. If this is Mozzie's rookie season, this is his first game, week 1.
yeah,
How excited fans would be,
correct.
So they would be going crazy. So it's like I just feel like, and we call it kind of anchoring on your bias, where you've
Right.
already kind of set your mentality on a player.
100%.
And this is what I encourage people to do. Like even when you do draft content or whether they're all just being fans, right? You have to watch with the clear eye view, like because if you're going in watching Mozzie film thinking Mozzie's already a bust, you're not going to see a lot of these quality things that he's doing versus the Giants.
100%.
You're already just ant on him, right?
You're just
So
already
you have to
sold
kind
on
of
him.
clear that out of your mind. Right.
Look at this play here, right? This is when he's not on the field. This is Linval Joseph. Where are they running? Right at him. Watch this. Boom, gone. Did this happen to Mozzie the entire game? Hell no. So that
Right.
means they do it. They could do it. They did it to Linval, right? They
Right.
couldn't do it. They weren't able to do that to Mozzie the entire
Mhm.
game. They mean he's dictating what type of plays you're even calling in regards to your run fits as well. Then he does this and saying it. I'm like, if this wasn't from the guy who we thought was a bust, if this was the game that he put up and it was just a
Right.
game, he was a undrafted free agent and he didn't know who the hell he was.
Oh, if he was a UDF fan, they'd be going crazy.
Like, who the hell just had that type of game? He had that type of
If
game.
Jay Toye has his game,
If
it's
Jay
gonna be
Toye
all
has
it's gonna be
this type of game.
chaos.
They're gonna be like, Mozzie's done. You know what I mean? But Mozzie has that game because we don't expect it from him. We just like,
Right.
yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's like when
right.
you got that nerdy kid that you pick to play pickup ball or football, and he actually can play, but you don't
Right.
think he can play. And you're like,
Right.
this
Yeah,
boy
go ahead and
can
shoot.
play.
Make
like,
another
go ahead,
one. Like,
let
damn,
me
how
shoot.
many 3 points you gonna give him, bro? Like,
Look at this play. Like, how many one techs are making this type of play? I mean, they're
right.
not
Right into
doing
the
that.
ball, finishing.
Man, that's Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
there's been plays, and I think I put the play in here that I was talking about where he got held. I put that play in there too. I think I don't know for sure, but these are all solid plays from Mozzie so far, right? That I put on film, and I didn't put just one play like the play he just had against Lamar Jackson because I want people to see like he made multiple adjustments in each game where he had his effect on the game. Even when we thought he had a bad game, which is this game, they thought that he didn't play well this game because of the play where Henry scores. But I'm watching good ball outside of that. I'm watching a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? This is good ball. And Baltimore is a running team. Now why did Micah Parsons just make this play? Because they're running power in the B gap right here. Boom. Mozzie makes him stutter and go and bounce this outside. He's never going to get credit for any of this. None of it. So
and that's his job. That's his job.
Yeah, exactly why we said we wanted him in the first place. He's doing that. Now, right there, did he make that tackle? No. Why did Henry fall? Because Mozzie's in his gap right here. Oh shit. Boom. Done. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't have to tackle anybody on that. You know what I mean? He's just having his impact on the game. Yeah, that's all he's supposed to do. Now, if you give me another one of these and a Toya, I'm cool with what we have at one tech. I'm serious when I say that. Because the only time we had issues in the A from B to B, meaning the B gap and the A gap and the A gap and the B gap, right? From both sides of the ball. Only time we had issues is when Mozzie wasn't on the field. And we had Linval Joseph, or old guy. I even like Carlos Watkins and his reps. I think Linval got too many snaps last year. But
Yeah, Jordan
what?
Phillips out there a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch these guys. Yeah, Phillips. I think it was Phillips. Yeah. Boom.
Yeah,
Phillips was
Joseph.
just trash when he was out there. But
Yeah.
but check it out. Watch these plays. Like this is against the Eagles. Like these are running teams that he's doing this against. But when he
Right.
does these things, they're like,
Right. Right.
he's
Showing
making
the edge.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I wasn't half as pissed at Mozzie as everyone else. And it wasn't because I want him to be good because I thought he would be good, right? It's not because of that. It's because I just said, all right, I don't know what he's doing this year. Let me wait to the offseason and I'm gonna judge this offseason based off his body of work. And I'm just judging it game by game. And you know how I watch the film. I have to watch. I didn't know until today that I could just go type a play in and then the play pops up.
About an hour ago.
Whole game. All of these games to make this film. That's why you got those.
My dog AKOYE didn't know that you could just go and just search it, and I could have watched all these clips in probably like 10 minutes and been done.
They took that element off of NFL a couple years ago, and I just never looked back to check and see if they put it back, but they did. So, but look at Mozzie right here at the bottom. He's a second to the bottom on the defensive line, right? So he's in the middle. He's at one tech, right? Boom. Watch this. One techs don't make these plays.
Right.
I don't care what you say. One techs don't make this play.
Right.
They don't. Mozzie does things that I really like. Now, can you do something with this and make him good if you're even plus? Hell, you better be able to. He's flashing. He's showing you that I have more than just I'm a log jam type of skill set. You know what I'm saying? He can do things for you. Now, is he a pass rusher? No, he's not that. He's not. He doesn't need to be for me though. He doesn't. He just
needs to have motor consistency and play strong. That's it.
Maybe 4 times a year. He does this 4 times a year. I'm cool with him. 3-4 sacks a year just off of gimme plays because you're just where you need to be. Cool, no problem. And then, like I said, calls this tackles for losses just by holding guys up. This play right here, he almost killed this guy. I was like, fuck, he murdered this man. But you know, like I think that's Hubbard, but he killed him. I'm like, people are looking at these plays and saying, trash. I'm like, yo, no. Ain't no way I look at this and say I can't do nothing with it. Like,
he's a bust. He hasn't got it right because they're slapping that first round grade in what he did his first year.
And you don't see one guy like if he's double teamed and he's taking on a double team and doesn't make a play, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is you not making this play when you're 1-on-1. You got to make this play. And every time you see Mozzie singled up, he's going to destroy. It's like the guy's not there. So I'm cool with that. Now get better with a full off season, get stronger, and let me see what you look like in year 2. Right. Let me see that, and then I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? But I'm ready. I'm done presenting on that one. You can
facts. Yes, that's why we had to get AKOYE, man. So that was improv. You know what I'm saying? That was improv. You know what I'm saying? That's the blessings that we get in this community, man, to have someone like AKOYE that can do that, man. So like I said, this is what it's all about, having context. There's gonna be a lot of people gonna tell y'all Mozzie's a bust, Mozzie's a trash, we should get rid of him, we should trade him. But the eye in the sky never lies, and that's why AKOYE does what he does, and that's what I do. So that way we can sit back and take an honest view. You know, and like not saying it's all pro. I'm not even saying we don't need to get in the defensive. I said we should go get another one, but still,
is he good enough to play? And
he's good enough to play.
When you watch the film, even if you have the confirmation bias of him being a bust, if you watch the film and you just say, forget what I say he is what I'm watching, is what I just put on film, is games, not highlights, one play per game or one highlight or his sacks and his tackles for losses. I put games of him not making a stat consistently.
Right.
If you watch that and you say, what is happening on this play, and does Mozzie deserve credit for what he did on those plays that I just put? Does he or doesn't he? If he does, that happened in live NFL games, multiple plays for multiple games, and they say, well, you only picked 3 games. Well, you want how much time?
Man, how much time you got? You know what I'm saying? We can see here and be all day. You know,
do you watch it? Or do you want to say that I chose games? I chose the games where he played the toughest offensive lines, not the weakest. I played the Eagles, Baltimore, and the Giants. I said, okay, these are guys that are quality offensive linemen. How does he do here? Because if I put just bum time up there, they're going to say, oh, it's just bum time.
Right.
No, I put good teams, all playoff teams at that, right? That he played against, except for the Giants. Every other team are playoff teams and the Super Bowl winning team, right? And I say, well, how does he fare in those games? Did he look like he wasn't supposed to be on the field? No.
Right.
Nope. Did he? How many snaps did he play? 20, maybe 30 snaps. Okay. How many plays out of that did he affect? If he gives me 10 out of the 30 times he's on the field, that's a third of the snaps. You're affecting the game. I'm okay with that. That's how you got to look at it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly, bro. Exactly. So one last question. I ain't gonna keep you too long, bro, because you mentioned it earlier.
My dog is barking.
Cornerback. All right, dog. Let's just keep it rolling a little bit. Keep it rolling. That's got a super chat, man. Salute to you, bro. Just tuck my brother said this for the end. We're gonna do it now. But Okoye, don't just do sports, bro. Intelligence goes deeper than that. Where a rabbit hole, Okoye go. Yeah, he's trust me, y'all. He's working on some other stuff outside of Cowboy stuff, some big stuff, some real impactful stuff. Are you going to week one?
It's on, man. Y'all already know. It's like
you going week one, man. So salute to Taryn Parsons when they were having this conversation. Like, Tuck, you got to come to Philly week one. Come to Philly week one. He's like, I got your back. And I was like, all right, bro, let's go get the tickets. He's like, well, I'm not going to the game. I was like, well, bro, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I might pull up week one if Okoye is there and Pastor Crawley. You know what I'm saying? I need some dogs there.
Oh, look, I'm gonna tell you, if you come in here for week one and you want to go, right? That we could do that 100%. Somebody actually just asked me to go, right? One of my homies. I just asked him, I told him, like, how much it takes? He said 500. I said, we gotta spend some more because I'm not trying to be in the nosebleeds. Well, number one, and number two, I said I ain't wearing a Cowboy jersey.
Right.
So don't wear a Cowboy jersey if you want to get out of there without a free for all. Because I'm telling you right now, if somebody spit on me, I'm fighting.
Oh.
So if you with me and somebody spit on me, I'm fighting. And they will spit on you if you wear. I'm serious. You will find spit on the back of your jersey. You won't know it's there until later. You'll reach back, or somebody behind you say,
see, I can't do that. That's why I was trying to tell them in the chat. I was like, bro, like if someone throw a drink on me, or it's gonna be ugly. You know what I'm saying? You have to have my bail money in chat.
I think my dog is going crazy.
So we'll see, y'all.
Go ahead. We still going. We got like a couple minutes, then I'm out of here.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. One last question before you get your dog, bro. Cornerback. Okay. Last question. Cornerback. Do you feel like
that's the question?
Yeah, corner.
Do I feel like we're good at corner?
Yeah.
So yes and no. I think if you have a healthy Diggs, you have a healthy Bland, and you get something out of Elam, I think you are boding well there. Matter of fact, just don't go anywhere. We can still keep going. I'm just gonna tell my dog to shut the hell up. Just stay right there. Hold that thought.
All right, bet. All right, go ahead. All right, go solo, man. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Like I said, share the content. We got everybody watching. We got over 1,000 people watching right now. Salute to everybody on Instagram as well. Yeah, I figured out this show. Great show to both of you. I think the addition of Pickens is going to automatically improve the run game. He's going to do his thing. But y'all are right. We have to run the ball. Facts. Instagram says spent capital on Trey Lance, just not to play him. Yeah, I'm saying. A dog Wanye was trolling me, y'all, yesterday in the comments about playing college football, and he ain't pick up the sticks. You know what I'm saying? Salute to my dog Wanye out there. West Coast in the building. Salute to West Coast, my dog Sid, Dan Mitchell, everybody on Twitter as well, man. Y'all watching all over across social media. But like I said, y'all, we got bangers lined up. This is just day 2. Yesterday we had Boss Cowboy on cover 3 with DMV and also Rome. Today we have Okoye. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and guess in the chat who's tomorrow's guest. But it's gonna be another banger at 7 p.m. Central, so you do not want to miss out. And then we're gonna do another one on Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday and the following Monday at camp. So we're gonna keep it going. I'm gonna see if I can guess who tomorrow's guest is, though. But it's another big dog in the game. Y'all definitely want to miss out because y'all gonna get this knowledge. I know sometimes y'all get tired of hearing from me, but I really want to show the space and what we really do in this community because we got a lot of incredible people that do incredible work. No, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Big game, James. Not tomorrow. Vach, no, not tomorrow. Jerry Jones, y'all got it. Jerry Jones. We're gonna have Jerry Jones on the show. We're gonna have Jerry Jones. But we going with my dog Skywalker Steel tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. So my dog Sky will be joining us. We're gonna do the same exact thing, gearing up Cowboys Nation, getting y'all ready for camp. So I'm bringing out all the big dogs, man. So my dog Skywalker Steel will be joining us, and we're gonna dive deep, man. It's always fun when my dog Sky gets to rocking because the Cowboys Nation, it's gonna be a fun season. He called it. You called it, bro. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun season, man. And I'm just in my lane, man, and I'm getting back to enjoying doing content, and I'm back to enjoying content with good quality people, man. So like I said, I picked up the phone. A lot of people got calls from me. And they like, Tuck, just let me know when. So some of the names y'all said they're gonna be on the show, just not tomorrow. All right, we got AKOYE back. All right,
yeah, I had to tell. Yo, I had to bring him in. I'm like, yo, you gotta come in with me because it's like,
there you go, big dogs. No, that's Mozzie. You know what I'm saying? That's how Mozzie
goes. They're like wolves, man. Hold on.
You know, the big dogs be out there, man. Yeah, Susan Hoodie Kush, my dog, man. What's going on with you, bro? Let me see here. I had 100 for that. You get 100 for that, dog. So yeah, so definitely like the content, share the content. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central, we will have Skywalker still as we break down and gear up for camp, man, and give y'all around the clock coverage. But yeah, we'll get 2i. I think we are waiting on 2i will be next week while she's out there at camp. I'm not going to be at camp. I'm not going to Oxnard. I'm going to Vegas instead. I'm going to Vegas instead, y'all. I'm going to Vegas.
If they destroy it again, they keep going, then I'm gonna just
all right.
All right, so back to
last question, dog. Cornerback position. So how do you feel about the cornerback position? Because I know you mentioned possibly bringing a veteran guy at the cornerback position.
I like if we brought Gillian, that would be okay with me, right? But when I look at what we have, right, and I say, okay, if you get Diggs back healthy early in the year, I'm okay. We don't know what Caleb Carson or what's his name?
Yeah, Kalen Carson.
We don't know what Kalen Carson's going to be. I didn't hate him half as much as everybody else did.
Right.
Dog here. I didn't hate him half as much as everybody else did due to the fact that it was his rookie year, and I think he got the Micah Parsons treatment. He got thrown out there a little earlier than he wanted to get out there, and I think they even wanted him out there, and it showed. So I'm okay with what I saw based on the circumstances. If he was a first-round talent that was brought in here to start and he played the way he played, oh yeah, I would be like, okay, I don't know what he is. But he wasn't brought here for that. He was brought here to be developed, and he got thrown in there, right? So I'm not mad at what I saw from him there. He's going to have his rookie moments. We saw that in Trayvon Diggs his first year. Right. Trayvon was making plays. He had a bunch of almost interceptions, great plays, but we also saw him get his ass bust a lot.
Right,
because he's a rookie. He was, he's going to have those moments where the NFL is the NFL for a reason, and so he's going to have those moments where that shows and it catches up to him. So I didn't have a problem with that at all. Here they go. Quiet, Nyla. There's two of them, so they both they hyped up because it was a German Shepherd out front. I don't know whose dog it was, but they was out there rumbling. I'm like,
Ron's upstairs.
I was sweating. I was like, I thought I was telling them to be quiet. She's like, no, they fighting. I said, oh no. So they was up there fighting. But yeah, they cool. But anyway, I do like though if we did address the cornerback position and kind of shore it up with a veteran like I'll just say Gilly because Gilly knows the landscape. He's been here before. We know him. He knows us, right? Different scheme, but I think he's solid on the perimeter, and you could push Bland to the interior. And if Diggs is back, cool with that. Elam.
So let me pause you there. Do you think Bland contract here is going to get pushed into the? Because I feel like it makes the most sense, especially while we kind of need this bridge until we can get healthy. But do you think he's going to go inside? I know there's been conversations about Wanye maybe playing inside. I know there have been talks about Izzy as well. I think the easiest fit is to put Bland back in the inside. Then you have Elam on the outside as well.
I agree that having him on the interior is, I think, better for the team. To me, you don't get those over routes. You're not going to hit any of those over routes against him consistently. He's stout at the point of attack when it comes to the run game, no screens, bubble screens, any of that. I like him closer to the ball because I think he's a more dynamic corner than just a guy. And now, can he play the perimeter very well? Yeah, we saw that. So of course he can. But I think moving him closer to the ball just makes him make more plays, and it takes away your most common punch, which is the slot receiver. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you make home runs, or do you want to stop the jab? Right? The jab is the slot receiver, and you put him on the guy that you want to be able to erase. Right? So I look at that a combination between him and Diggs, a healthy Diggs. And I know Diggs' grandma. She's her name's Dionysus, right?
Okay.
She cool old head. She's here, like she lives here.
Okay.
So I was hanging out one day at Longhorns, and this lady behind me was just talking her stuff, and I'm like, we just start talking. She told me who she was. I said, I do analysis on the Cowboys, so I know I know who your grandson is very well. So we got real cool. But she has reason to believe that he's fine. He'll be okay. So. I'm taking from his grandmama that he's gonna be okay, and fine already. So if that's true, then I think a healthy Diggs with a Bland in the slot, I think it only makes whoever you put on the perimeter on the other side stronger. And I don't care who that is. You might see a little bit of Izzy Nkwamu there in training camp. I think Izzy's a better perimeter corner than he is a safety, in my opinion. I think he's a better corner, period, than he is a safety. Although I don't mind him as safety either if you use him to do some corner things. But Elam, Izzy, and Caleb Carson can fight for it, or you can bring me a veteran. I'm okay with the cornerback room. Now, we're one injury, though, away from being trash in that entire dynamic. So I still think you have to bring in a guy like a Gilly if you want to shore up that room, my opinion. But I don't mind the young guys fighting for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the key is the bridge, right? Because with Siobhan Revel, I think if you can get him healthy, and then you have Diggs, and then you have Carson, Kyer Elam, and also Deron Bland, I feel like healthy, our cornerback room was probably our second most solidest room defensively, on the roster, but it's just getting them healthy. But that's the part. And we got AJ Brown, Smitty out the gate, right? So we can't be having no loose holes right there.
Right.
So I would probably try to bring in Gilly. Will they do it? From conversations I'm hearing, there's nothing really picking up unless things look bad in camp. And I agree. Like, I was a huge fan of Kalen Carson coming out of Wake Forest because his film out of college was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that the spotlight got a little too big. He tossed him out there, tossed him to the fire. And he got hurt. So hopefully his confidence didn't get killed, because I think the kid definitely has some skills. I mean, go watch his film versus Florida State, the way he was banging with Keon Coleman. Like he was, he was the dog. That's why I first saw him. So, I think that there's still something there. So I'm not going to give up on the kid. But I just think that we just need that bridge to kind of get us there until we can fully get healthy. So overall, I'm excited about this Dallas Cowboys season. Well, AKOYE, my dog, thank you for joining us, dog. Welcome back.
Wait, one thing though, you don't want to talk linebacker before we leave?
Go ahead.
Do you want to? If you don't got time,
I'll let you talk about
me
personally. I'm not too excited about the linebackers, but go ahead and let me know how you feel about the linebackers.
Why are you not too excited about the linebackers?
I was more excited about last year's linebackers than I am this year, because of course we don't have Overshown, right? So Overshown is kind of X'd out. I do like Maris. I think Maris is going to take a leap, but outside of that, I like Kendricks better than I like Kenneth Murray, and also Sanborn. I feel like he's a little bit more frequent tackler. And then I was saying, as we talked about this last night, I think that Damone Clark might have a resurface possibly under Eberflus. But he's a work in progress. He's a work in progress. But I think that you can still maybe find something. But the kid that I really like is Shamar James out of the University of Florida, who we drafted. This is a kid who's kind of wiry sideline. So if Eberflus can tweak that, but I just felt like there was more proven at the linebacker position last year than coming into it this year. It's still some question marks for me, to be honest with you.
I'll say it like this, man. I don't agree though, but I understand.
All right, go ahead. Let's talk it out. You know what I'm saying? We can't agree on everything.
Well, when you look at I look at the combination of, sensei and pupil, right?
Okay.
So when I look at the tools that Eberflus, who I know what he is in regards to what he can do with linebackers, it's like what's the dude's name from the Eagles? Stanchions? What's his name? What's their offensive line coach's name? What's his name from the Eagles? You know his name?
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Well, whoever that guy is, whoever you give him, he's going to develop. Just like we felt about Al Harris when it came to the corners. Like Bland and Diggs have Al Harris, I believe, to thank for their explosion, right? So when you look at a guy like Eberflus, who's of that ilk, where he's a position guru, especially when it comes to linebackers, and you watch the elevation of all the linebackers that he's ever come in contact with, including the guys that we chased out of town with LB and Jalen. They were their best under this guy, right? So if I look at that and I say, okay, what did Darius Leonard look like with him? What did Sanborn? Nobody even, you don't even like Sanborn, right? But Sanborn.
I just don't have enough. I don't have enough is inconclusive evidence for me.
He looked pretty good in Chicago, in my opinion. The multiple things they had him doing. He's a very Stoutland, that's his name. But he's very cerebral, very smart player. I like Sanborn. When you look at a Kenneth Murray Jr., it's like, okay, what can he do with a prototypical linebacker? A linebacker that can run toe-to-toe with wide receivers, but can also crash, he can blitz. He does everything well. Nothing extremely great because he's not consistent enough for me to say he's great at anything else. But he does that. He flashes in such a way where when he flashes is a play where say, okay, he finally made a play like we felt about Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown made an interception.
Right.
But what kind of interception? It was like,
Right.
did he make an interception that nobody else can make?
Trip. Yeah.
Or did he just like make an interception? When Kenneth Murray makes a play, it's like he makes plays that linebackers can't make. He makes those type of splash plays when he does it.
Right.
He just doesn't do it consistently. So what can he do with a coach that can get him more consistent or get more of those plays out of him? That's going to be good to see, because when he does flash, it's in a way that I don't see other guys.
Yeah, it does flash, right?
It's
yeah,
like I saw him
bait.
He baits. If you can bait a quarterback while guarding a receiver in off coverage, that's hard for corners to do consistently. We have corners that play full-time corner that can't do it at all, right?
Right.
He baited a quarterback with his hips turned inside, right? Flips his hips, turns back outside. This is CJ Stroud he did this against. So he turns his hips back outside, makes an interception while the receiver is 8 yards behind him. So he has to jump and arc on the ball, right? And catch that ball, and track the ball, catch that ball. Where if he just misses, or even if he tips it, it's probably still a big play. But if he misses it, it's a touchdown. And he's the only guy there.
Right.
He's playing cover 2. He's the only guy in the middle of the field. You can line up 10 linebackers. Maybe 2 of them can make that play. Fred Warner, probably one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Most of them can't make that play. So when I watch guys do that, when I watch Kenneth Murray do that, I get excited when I know he's being teamed up with Eberflus. Because I look at his career and say, okay, he wasn't in the right schemes, most likely. And, he didn't get to stay anywhere long enough for me to see how great he could be. He had a lot of regime changes and team changes. So, okay, let's see what Eberflus can do with him. You know what I mean? And,
remember how Eberflus, for those who remember, like with Rolando McClain, he had Anthony Hitchens back then, Rolando McClain, he even had his issues. I mean, he was a baller. You know what I'm saying?
He was slow too, but
he was one of those people that stretch. He didn't work out. He just hit the field, just get you 10, 15 tackles a game. So
there you go.
Yeah, I think that Kenneth Murray kind of fits that old.
Yeah, I think a linebacker core is cool, man. And then you get Demo back, and then you have a mixture. So you got those 3: Demo, Sanborn, Kenneth Murray. Then you get Morris on the field. And if we do get something out of Clark, great. And then if you get some rotation of Micah Parsons mixing in at linebacker,
right,
that's a pretty damn good linebacker room, man. Like, if Clark's the worst guy and Clark has starting experience,
right,
I'm not that mad at it. Like, everybody in front of Clark is supposed to be a blue chip prospect type player, except for Sanborn. But the rest of those guys, Morris is a second round grade type guy. You got Micah Parsons, top 10 grade. You got Kenneth Murray, same thing, crazy, graded off the charts. And then you got guys around him that can play. And then you got Demo, who wasn't graded that high, but he's a top 10 level type talent player when he's there. So it's like, how do you not love that linebacker room? I love it.
Right. Well, because we had Demo last year. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have him this year too. You're gonna have him. He's not gonna have him in the beginning. You got the Demo clone, and when I say Demo clone, meaning a guy that's pretty good at everything that can move like a wide receiver, and that's Kenneth Murray Jr. But is he a playmaker like Demo? Not consistently, but can he fill in until November? Yeah. So that's how they're gonna. When you want to know what we're gonna do with Demo, watch what they do with Kenneth Murray, because they're the same skill set.
That makes sense. All right, so then we talked about linebacker. I'm not linebacker, but I just, you know what I'm saying, I would like a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like I like high octane when it comes to my linebackers. I think Kenneth Murray fits that mold, because I think initially we come out in nickel, you'll probably have Murray, probably Maris or Sanborn, whoever wins that. I think Maris will probably win it, and then whoever wins that safety, whether it's Donovan or Wanye, we'll kind of see how that all unfolds as it can. But my dog, appreciate you for coming in, man. For everyone who's seen you for the first time, let everybody know they can find you, bro.
Oh man, AKOYE Media on YouTube. That's AKOYE Media on YouTube and Twitter. I talk a lot of trash on Twitter too. You might have fun with it. I just give you this disclaimer on Twitter. I'm Darius. I'm just talking. I talk crazy. So if I curse you out on Twitter, don't think it's personal. Like, I probably cursed Tuck out a couple times. I argue on Twitter, but it's not like personal. It's just how I talk. I'm just really having fun debating. I'm not serious at all, but I just talk a lot of trash on Twitter. It's just fun. You know,
Right.
it's
See, a
a
lot of
silly
people
thing.
don't understand, like, because we talk behind the scenes and stuff on the phone, and sometimes so they'll see us
Right.
talking aggressive and stuff and think like, oh,
They
Tuck
think
and
we don't
Okoye is
like each
beating,
other.
or like, bro, we're not
No.
beating, like, bro. We just got off the phone. We just talking our, so sometimes it's easier for like, let me
Right.
just call you, bro, because they think a big deal
Right.
out of it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
I don't
Right.
like when Tuck goes at Okoye, like, and they want
Right.
to
Right.
make the
No,
shit
we
the Game
never.
of
We know
Thrones.
it's all fun for us. Like, and then we're not near each other, so it's not like we can have a camaraderie, or like playing dominoes or
Right.
spades or something. So we talk our trash over the airways, man. It's just all in
Right.
love and fun, though. But we got to say that to
Facts.
people so they understand that it's not. We really ain't on that. Like, if Tuck called
Yeah.
me, he needs something, got him. And Tuck done plugged me last year. I threw 2 fights. You plugged me with Street Star Nord. I think I did an interview with Gerald McCoy too as a result of that. So Tuck be throwing some
Jeremy McCoy. Yeah.
bones out there,
Jeremy
and some
McCoy.
real heavy ones too, man. Good
Yeah,
resource, man.
man. It's all
Appreciate
brotherhood and sisterhood, man. That's what it's
Yeah.
all about. It's about a big family, man. If I can find a way to help you, bro, you know what I'm saying? Because you did it for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna keep it up. I'm gonna keep y'all put y'all on something. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say about. So there was a thing in the community where people were keeping film away from. They didn't want Jay Tuck to get that college film, right? And then Koye hit me. I was like, oh, bro, here's how you get it. And now look, you know what I'm saying? For Okoye, Okoye could have kept it to himself, but Okoye showed love. It was like, no, Tuck, here's how you get the college film. And I was able to get the college film, and the rest is history. Now I'm on my second NFL draft or wherever we're at. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's crazy, bro? I don't even remember that. That's how often I do shit. I don't even know I did that. You like, Corey, did I'm like,
yeah,
he did do it.
No, yeah,
he did do it. Like,
bro.
I probably did.
I was like, bro, where do you? I was asking. Yeah, I was asking him, like, man, where y'all get the college film? And everybody was like, I don't know. I was like, all right, dog. And then Koye was like, oh, here's how you get it. Da 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 da. Plug me in, and then the rest is history, man. So that's just all about just real, genuine people and what we love the most about this community, man. So we appreciate you all for tuning in. If you're seeing me for the first time, J Tuck CFO Sports. Follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. Like I'm telling y'all, I got banger after banger after banger after banger. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, Skywalker Steel will be joining me as we gear up and get y'all ready for camp. And we got some other big guests coming in, so you definitely don't want to miss out. So turn that notification bell. So I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged. And Cowboys Nation, football season is finally here. Let's get it. Peace.